So all those of us who consider ourselves Buddha's followers, we need to be clear about what that means. You know that Buddha gave many different teachings on many different occasions. He was perfect teacher in the sense that he always knew exactly what to say to every particular person. And sometimes when it was group of people of different ones, he was able to teach sometimes even groups in such a way that many of them, and many who listened to him understood, became enlightened on the spot. It's quite interesting that it was possible at that time to do teaching in such an effective way that just by listening many, and we hear sometimes even everybody in audience, like 1,500 monks, I think, when he gave a fire sermon, it said that all 1,500 ascetics present there became at least stream enterers. So this, of course, works in two ways. First of all, quite often when people come together, they have something in common. It simply works that way. Those 1,500 ascetics, I think, were disciples of some Brahmin who also became Buddha's disciples. So they already had something in common. So Buddha, as an ultimate teacher, was able to use what he perceived they had in common, to use it in skillful way, and to choose exactly the right words for everybody in audience to penetrate the truth. I cannot do that. So probably none of you will become enlightened today. But still, I think I can give some general useful information which you can use as a guide or guidance. Now, you probably know that one of the most important qualities we need to take care of in ourselves is right view. Quite often we don't pay much attention to it. We know that it's the first factor of the Eightfold Path, and that it means it is defined by the Buddha narrowly as knowledge of the Four Noble Truths. And we have heard these Four Noble Truths so many times that we are usually quite bored of it. So we think that we actually have right view, right? So this is very initial understanding, and it also took me many years to understand that there are actually many aspects of right view, and many different ways how we can go astray, how we can lose it. We still know the Four Noble Truths, but because we are living in an environment where many people around have wrong view, and they are spreading these vibrations of wrong view around. It's basically in the air. We are not aware of it, but it is ever present. In news, in schools, what children are being taught. Much of it is based on wrong view. Like science, for instance, physics, mathematics is based on view that there is just one life. And then matter is primary and consciousness is just derived, like byproduct of matter. It's there, physics. And even though this kind of wrong view is not expressed outright in schools, because it's in the background, it gets into the mind of children without knowing about it. And then they come home, and sometimes they hear about rebirth and that there is life after death and so on, the consciousness survives. So this is something completely different, So there are these two competing worldviews, and which one prevails, that's the question. But at any rate, even if we on a rational level we accept and are not doubtful about the fact that there is a life after death, still, because of this other view, which is always around somehow, we still may be misled into thinking in wrong ways. So one of those is to become terribly, afraid of viruses and so on, and I might die, and so on. This is overreaction to what happened, and I'm afraid this wrong view about that we have just one life, and if we die, which we will anyway, that's terrible tragedy. But it's not, it's just life is arising and passing away like anything else, and death by itself is not problem. Problem is actually the birth, what it will be. So the only thing we can do about it is to try to cultivate as much good karma, good deeds in this life, any moment. And how we do that? We can use any moment for cultivation of wholesome karma, even by just remembering that we should be present and trying to maintain presence. Already that is potent good karma. Because this, if we maintain it, if we have this ability to be present even at the time of death, not to be afraid of it, and even if fear arises, if the presence is strong, sati, mindfulness, presence, if it's strong, then we see this fear from outside. So the mind that sees fear from outside remains equanimous. And this equanimity is a strong foundation for good rebirth, at least, If we have cultivated presence and other 5 faculties strong enough, then death is excellent opportunity for enlightenment. It's even said in suttas that Buddha said that only some monks can attain stage of enlightenment during lifetime, but some monks or practitioners cannot, but can attain enlightenment at the time of death. Because the time of death is really pregnant with insight if the mind is ready. But we simply need to keep going during lifetime, keep practicing, and this keep practicing means everything, all the Buddha's Dhamma's practice. So dana, sila, bhavana we can do anytime. So even when we do dana, like coming here and offering food, you can still do it while being present, right? So you are practicing dana and bhavana at the same time. And when you are taking 5 precepts, occasionally again you can do it also with established presence. So you are redetermining to keep 5 precepts while being present. So bhavana and sila is there at the same time. And then, of course, whenever it happens that you are tempted to act against 5 precepts, for that to stop yourself, you also need to have some degree of presence. So developing presence helps you to maintain and protect 5 precepts, and also it is helping you to be maybe more effective, efficient, or motivated to practice dana too, because with the established presence you notice influence which dana have on your mind, how pleasant and beneficial it is. So in this way all these 3 pillars of Dhamma practice support and strengthen each other. And the only thing we can do is simply to use any moment of this life to keep going in this direction. And if we do that, there is no possibility even sometimes of fear when the death comes, and death will come. And we know that, right? It's a shame that most of the people behave as if it was not so. There is even joke of one quite very good short story American writer, William Saroyan. He said, I like this quote, he said, "Of course I knew I also have to die. I just thought I might have exception." So that's unfortunately most other people seem to behave as if they thought they will be exempted. All right, so these were a few Dhamma reflections. May you succeed in maintaining presence from this very moment until the last breath.